Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the Amazon and e-commerce world. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go to the younger e-commerce world, and we're interviewing 4 teenagers today. Now, before I go further, I want to make sure that, obviously, that if you're a teenager out there, you definitely need to listen to this episode because it should be hopefully inspiring for you. But regardless of your age, don't tune out, guys. This is going to be for everybody. Why do I say that? Well, number one, you're either a teenager yourself. Number two, maybe you're older, 30s, 40s, 50s. You have a teenage son or daughter, or even a younger one, and want to have a plan for their potential e-commerce future. Or you have friends who have kids that are the age of our guest today. Or just think about it yourself. Once you guys see how these 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds are crushing it, and you're twice their age or something, maybe you've been hesitant. Maybe just listening to their stories is enough to give you the motivation. Like, if this person is a senior in high school and grossing $600,000 a month, what's stopping me? All right. So regardless, I think of what age you are, I think you guys are going to find some benefit from this episode. Now, today we're going to talk to 4 different people of different backgrounds. They're from different countries. We have somebody who is a virtual assistant. We've got somebody who started when she was like 13, 14 and already had hit the 6-figure mark at that age. We've got somebody else who's a full-time student in high school and last month grossed, I think it's something like over $500,000 in 1 month, and he's still a full-time student in high school. And we have somebody else who is only 15 and he's been doing different jobs here or there, making money. And I think it's going to be very inspiring for you to hear some of their stories, especially, like I said, you youngsters out there who might think that this whole e-commerce, thing is you got to be a graduate of college, or maybe it's for your parents. No, guys, regardless of your age, I'm not talking like 5 years old, all right? Regardless of if you're like a teenager already, like, you can get into e-commerce, and that's not the case in every field. How many jobs can you do out there, outside of, babysitting or mowing lawns and things? What are you doing if you're a teenager, or what are your friends doing to make money? You parents out there, what are your kids doing, or your kids' friends doing to make money at the age of 14, 15, 16? Maybe this episode will give you guys some new ideas to see what's possible. So let's go ahead and introduce our first guest. All right, so we've got actually, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. So go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and how old you are.
Okay, so my name is Salman. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Pakistan, Karachi.
All right, excellent. Welcome, Salman. Now, question for you right off the bat is, I haven't been to Pakistan yet. I'm actually going there. I don't know if you heard, I'm going there later this year. I'll probably be able to meet you in person. But, typical person your age, 15, 16, 17, would you be working now, or are you just going to school, or like, a lot of your friends, what are they doing?
Okay, so for school, they're online right now because that COVID scene. And for my friends,
Mm-hmm.
I did try to convince a lot of them, but no use.
Yeah. But like, what, I'm just talking in general. You said you're from Karachi. So like the typical 15, 16, 17-year-old, like, for example, here in America, I don't know, maybe 25% of those your age, maybe they're working McDonald's or doing like, minor jobs here or there. Is it similar over there, or do most students just concentrate on school and they're not trying to get a job until later?
So if you ask for the typical mindset, it's like we are on our parents' money till our graduation or till our masters. So that's the typical mindset over here.
Ah.
You don't work till your parents are like.
So then not a lot of kids your age start working.
I've never seen any kid my age work until I came to e-commerce.
Okay, excellent. So at what age were you when you started, getting into e-commerce, and what was the motivation? Like, like you just said, most kids your age in your area, that's not something they even think about. So like, why did you think of it?
When I started, I was almost 15. I started with content writing, and the motivation was that. So this is the second part of the story. The first part, everyone knows the first part, that I mostly wasted my time on Netflix. The second part is I wanted to buy a phone, and my dad refused that if you want to buy one, you gotta get one yourself. So that was the original case that got me into all of this.
Okay. Okay. So then what did you do? You Googled like how to make money or like what did you do?
No, so this random day, I was like watching Netflix, and my dad came, and he was standing by me. He said that you go on YouTube, watch what freelancing is, how freelancing is done, and I was like, why? But he stood there by me until I closed Netflix and I put something on the TV. So the first video I saw, it was really very interesting, and I did think that it was doable. So I thought, let's give it a try. And from that day, that video changed my life.
Okay, so then did you like make a profile on, like Fiverr or Upwork or something, or how did you put yourself out there in order to get your first job?
Initially, I joined Facebook groups as I didn't know much about Fiverr and Upwork. I still don't use Upwork that much because sending proposals over there is very hectic, and I still don't get it. So initially, I worked on Facebook groups, but was unsuccessful in getting many clients. So on my cousin's recommendation, I tried to approach websites. After approaching those websites, they actually took me seriously and appreciated my content. And after that, I just wrote for websites, not for clients.
So then what do you mean by go to the website? So you find a business's website and then what did you do?
So they were magazines, like stories and articles. So the first one was Cracked. The second one was Income Diary, and the third one was E-commerce Insiders. These are the three core websites that I wrote around 50 articles for.
So then you like what? You approach them, or you find the website, you find their contact information, and then you say, "Hey, I would like to like write a blog, for your website," or what was the angle there for you?
Okay, so first off, I went to their website. I checked their existing articles on their requirements for what they require of their writers. I checked my own content if my content had the requirements. I emailed them my content and got a great response.
Okay, and then these were for free, or they paid you to do this?
In the start, Cracked was free, but after my blogs were getting 150 to 200 people, they starting paying me.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Now, this is I'm assuming like maybe when you're still like 15 or something, but then as the months and the year went on, now you expanded a little bit more to e-commerce, like doing what was is it like listing optimization, or what did you kind of pivot to from writing blogs and content? What did you change to?
Okay, so from the beginning, some clients did approach me for listing writing and description writing, but when my cousin gave me a brief description about Amazon, I actually found this interesting. As in content writing, you satisfying someone is a very big deal, and this is way better and easier than content writing.
Now, I mean, you probably don't have the exact number, but about how much money did you earn last month in January? Would you say from this all this work that you're doing?
I guess $840.
So, like you said, the typical student your age doesn't even work at all. But comparing that to typical worker in Pakistan, like an adult, who's working full time, just office or fast food or something like that. What does a typical entry level adult earn in the job industry? Not talking about e-commerce, but just like at a McDonald's or something in 1 month.
A newbie, you mean, right?
Yeah, like I'm not talking about a lawyer or some business professional, but people who have their first job, maybe it's working in McDonald's, or it's working as a a full-time janitor or something like that? Like how much would somebody like that expect to make in a month, an adult?
Around $150 or $150 or $200 or $250 at max.
So you're making like four times the amount that a lot of adults make even in your country.
Yeah. Yes.
That's crazy. Are you making more than your parents make? Are you richer than them yet?
No, I'm not richer than them, but they're still proud of me.
I assume you were able now to go ahead and pay for your own phone.
Yeah, I bought two of them.
Two phones. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so then you're working all these hours a day. What's the biggest thing or the biggest time drain for you? Like what you're spending most of your time on doing?
I spend most of the time in sourcing. That's a very
Oh,
crucial
really?
part because in my family history, I've been really bad at bargaining, and now I have to do it. So it's challenging.
So then companies get you to they say which product they want, and then you go to factories to try it and source it.
Okay, so I provide A to Z services. So sometimes the seller tells me to like hunt a product for them. So I research for the product, I source it, I launch it, and we make money.
Have any products that you have launched for other companies? Like, what's like the best one that you don't have to tell me the product, but like, what's the best result from it? Like, hey, now it's selling $5,000 a month, or now it's selling $10,000 a month.
Okay, so the launch I did in UK was my second launch. The total budget we had for it was $7,000. We spent $6,000 on it, and it's making over 15,000 now.
All right, awesome. All right, well, we do something on the podcast show. I don't know if you heard Sakib's episode. Everybody does it, but we call it the TST 30-second tip. So it sounds like you have experience with sourcing and launch and listing optimization. So what would be your 30-second tip on a strategy that you think not everybody knows about, but something that would really help people regardless of their age on
For
Amazon?
sourcing, I never tell the supplier that I'm the owner of this company. I always tell them that I am the regional manager. So the trick behind it is when you tell a Chinese supplier that you are the owner, they're like, okay, he's not gonna deal with us for that long. So yeah, we'll just tell him a high price and we'll just do some tweaks and he'll get on us. But when you tell them that you are the regional manager, they actually take you seriously that this is his job. I mean, if we don't give him the best prices, he'll just move on to someone else. So this is my tip and trick for sourcing that has helped me a lot.
All right. Well, Salman, thank you so much for coming. As we usually say in this show, how cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. So I believe that's kitna cool hai, kafe cool merkashia. But anyways, thank you for coming on the show, and we look forward to seeing what you got going for you in the future.